Dawn, probably not much has changed since yesterday, but what have you seen from film on North Carolina? What do they do different from the last time you faced them, and what do you think you'll have to watch out for?
They play the same style of play that they've played for years, and they get up and down the floor. They like to play in transition. They like to speed the game up, and they like a lot of possessions. For us, I think we just need to, be calculating in our approach to the game, which is, run when we have the opportunity, and when we don't, we got to, play half-court basketball and pound the ball inside.
Again, please give your name and affiliation too.
David Caravello, Charleston Post and Courier. Dawn, Sylvia has been real successful pulling players out of the state of South Carolina, and I wonder, when you were first building this program, how much did you find yourself going against her, trying to win recruiting battles, and do you feel like you've kind of made a niche for South Carolina and prevented some of those kids from leaving the state?
Oh, when we first came to South Carolina, our staff, we just, we tried to just corner the market and figure out, the thought process and why players left the state of South Carolina, and how we could, how can we change that? And I think we've pounded the pavements. We just made sure that we had every significant person in prospects' lives, and we tried to make inroads with every single person. And because of that effort, I thought we've done a tremendous job at keeping our local players at home. And some of them did get away. They have a couple of South Carolina players, on North Carolina's roster, but we're fairly happy with the trade-off. They got 2, and I think we got maybe 8 or 9. So it's just it's just a constant battle, but it's one that we got to keep doing our jobs, because if we don't, they could easily go out of state.
Was it difficult to turn that tide when you first got here, and kind of how much of a presence was North Carolina then in recruiting in women's basketball in the state?
Well, as I look back on it, they got every high-profile player in the state of South Carolina over the past few years before we got here. I mean, it is difficult. It is difficult. I think when Coach Hatchell is from, does a lot of recruiting. She coached at Francis Marion, so she's had, inroads in our state. But I think when you change the complexion of, the program at South Carolina, where we are, and, we can be in their backyards, we can invite them to our games. So when we're that much a part of making sure that we're constantly, pumping South Carolina to come to practices, come to games, come on the visit. When we're able to have that much access, we find a way to make them, make saying no to us very difficult.
To ask questions, please raise your hand. Right here in the middle, Abby.
Brooke Pryor with the Durham Herald-Sun. Coach, when you look at their roster, who really presents a big matchup problem for you guys?
Well, I think you look at, they got 2 players that, that can score at will. You look at Stephanie Mavunga and Alicia Gray. Those are 2 players that, have done extremely well in the ACC, just in their league. And when you're able to play at a high level in a league like the ACC, I think it puts you in a position to have success across the country, because it's a really tough league. So they could pose some matchup problems for us.
And Greensboro is obviously supposed to be a neutral site, and you guys are the #1 seed. Does it really feel like that, knowing that you're playing North Carolina in their home state in an area where they have a lot of supporters?
Well, at this juncture, wherever we play, and we're fortunate to only had to take a bus ride to Greensboro, so it feels very much like it's home to us, and hopefully with the close proximity, the Columbia will have a lot of our fans there. So whatever we're feeling like, you know, it's you're on someone else's home court. I think our fans could make us feel very much at home.
Any more questions? In the back?
Hi. Since you all have played against Carolina, do you feel like you have an advantage playing against them now?
You know, it's always a tough, you know, North Carolina's always a tough opponent. But, you know, when you look at our two games that we played against them last year and our team this year, we're just a little bit different. We're a little bit older. I think we understand playing at this level a little bit better because we have that experience. I don't think the game plan changes from, you know, how we approached it. You know, I think it's time for our players just to make plays when, you know, when the game is on the line, and we weren't able to do that in the previous two games. So hopefully that changes this time around.